Yo, what's going on guys? It's G Miners here. A couple of you have been commenting to go over the new loadout manager in DIM, so that is exactly what we are going to do today. For anyone who doesn't use Destiny Item Manager, or DIM for short, it is basically a third-party application that uses Destiny's API to swap weapons between your vault and 3 characters. DIM has a whole host of other features, one of which allows you to fully create loadouts, which can be applied later with the click of a button. In a few of my build videos, I have also included DIM links in my descriptions. This loadout feature allows you to also share any build that you make with others and vice versa. If you click on the Loadouts tab in the top left of DIM, you will see a screen similar to the one I have. I've already made a few builds, but what you should see is a pretty blank page just showing what you currently have equipped. Any and all builds that you make will fall under this equipped section. You can filter the order they appear by name or by last edit you made. On the left-hand side, you also have the title of every build that you can click to move to. When it comes to making a build, there are 2 options. I recommend just making a build in Destiny. That way you can make sure it works well and everything fits onto your armor properly. Once done, you can save the build by clicking the Save Loadout option under your equipped gear section. The alternative to this would be clicking the Create Loadout button on the left-hand side of your screen. This will open a small loadout editing box at the bottom of your screen. The reason I don't recommend this is because it will be completely blank and you will need to fill in every single element of a build that you want. So going back to the Save Loadout option, if you click this, just like before, you will see a loadout editing window, but everything will be filled in with what you currently have equipped for the selected character in DIM. Your selected character will be the non-opaque character in the top left. Here, you can title the build and specify the class for the build, which is super important to do. If you make a build that works on all characters, make sure to set this to any class. You can add notes for anyone who is going to use your build link. You can show the current placements of your mods with the armor you have equipped. This also will show you tiny squares representing the amount of energy that you have used on the armor piece. By clicking an empty mod slot, you can also add new mods before saving the build. The Optimize Armor button will take you to DIM's internal loadout optimizer. This feature basically allows you to find armor that you have available and optimize your selections automatically in order to hit things like max recovery and max discipline. The last main feature is a checkable box which says move other items away. I believe that when this is checked in, if a player's inventory is full, items will be randomly removed and sent to the vault in order to make space for the items in the build when it is applied. The 3 sub-features you have are Add Unequipped, Armor Mods, and Choose Fashion. Add Unequipped will automatically add any weapons, armor, or extras to the build from your current player's direct inventory. This will add absolutely everything at once. From here, you can remove things by clicking on the X when hovering over an item. This is not really useful unless you want everything in your current inventory added to the build. A better alternative to add more weapons and armor to a build would be using the plus signs next to different pieces of gear. By doing this, you can add anything and everything you want to the build. Having multiple weapons will bring everything over to your inventory at once, which is great for making builds that are used in certain raids and activities. For example, if you have a bunch of weapons that you always use for Master Vogue, you can make a Master Vogue build, click on the button, and have every single weapon and armor piece that you need for the whole raid. Before I continue with the rest of the video, if you found it useful, don't forget to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing is completely free, it helps me out a ton, and you can always change your mind later. The Armor Mods sub-feature is used for adding any extra mod you may want to the build. Clicking this will show you every mod in the game that you have access to. Clicking any mod will automatically add it to the build after you click Select Mods in the bottom left. I am not a huge fan of this feature because it seems to show that you can add certain mods even when you don't have space for them. In cases where I've added mods on a full piece of armor, it will remove another mod to make room. I think that this feature does not recognize the stat mods as taking up energy, so they will remove them to make room for other mods if need be. I prefer editing my mods in Destiny, but if I need to make a change in DIM, I will use the Show Mods Placement feature because there is less likeliness for error. The last sub-feature is Choose Fashion. This does exactly what you think it does. It controls your transmog. Here, you can change the ornaments and shaders from what you have available. You can also easily see which ornaments and shaders you are missing from the options that are grayed out. By clicking Sync, it will change your armor ornament set and shaders to match. This uses a majority rules feature and will sync everything to what you have the most of. Overall, I think this feature is great for people who love Destiny fashion and want to just share transmog builds with other players. So with all that said, the main thing you will be doing is adding and or removing things in the loadout as I briefly mentioned before. For builds that are strictly armor based, I recommend removing weapons, subclasses, extra mods that aren't essential, and any flare in the build. After you have saved a build, you can share it with the share build settings. This automatically copies a link to your clipboard, which you can post wherever for people to use. If you use someone else's link for a build, you will see a screen like this. This is back at the loadout optimizer. Dim will attempt to provide you with the best armor choices that you have available, which can fit each mod. This is heavily based on the amount of energy of armor and its affinity, but it also seems to take into account the stats that you have and provide you with similar stats to the original build. If you want to edit the build, on the left-hand side you can select an exotic to run and change mods around if necessary. You can also select subclasses, but this only seems to provide certain subclasses, so I usually just change this in Destiny. The only time a subclass will be vital in a build is when using Stasis or any of the new 3.0 subclasses when they are released, as they have actual controllability. Lastly, you can compare any loadout that Dim provides to you to that of the actual build loadout itself. If you decide this is good enough for you, you can save the loadout just like I showcased before, and now it's your own. The only other thing I wanted to mention is if you come back to the inventory screen, which is where most people sit at when they play Destiny, you can click on the character you are playing or not playing and select the loadout that you want. Dim will show you that this is changing, and in-game you can see everything in your equipped gear slot change to the applied loadout that you've saved. Anyways guys, that is all for this video. I hope this helps and clears some things up about the loadout feature. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Peace.